They erased the darkest chapter of Rome's history from every textbook you ever read, and now it's time to uncover the shocking truth. As you walk through the ruins of the ancient city, you can't help but feel the weight of greatness that once was. The crumbling columns, the faded frescoes, the whispers of a long-lost civilization all seem to echo with a haunting question: what really brought down the greatest empire the world has ever known? Can you hear the whispers of the ancients, warning you of the dangers that lurked in every corner of their world? You've been taught that Rome fell to barbarian hordes, that the empire was weakened by external pressures and eventually succumbed to the inevitable. But what if that's only half the story? What if the true culprit was not the sword-wielding Visigoths, but a silent killer that seeped into the very fabric of Roman society, poisoning its people, its economy, and its politics? As you delve deeper into the mystery, you begin to realize that the truth is far more sinister, and the consequences far more devastating. What secrets were hidden behind the imperial facade, waiting to be uncovered? The Roman Empire was a marvel of engineering, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. But beneath the surface of its grandeur, a deadly threat was lurking. Lead, the ubiquitous metal used in everything from pipes to coins, was slowly poisoning the population. You can almost smell the sweet, metallic taste of lead as it seeped into the water supply, infecting every level of society. The once mighty legions, the proud senators, the ordinary citizens, all were vulnerable to the creeping menace. And as the years went by, the effects of lead poisoning began to manifest, eroding the very foundations of Roman power. What would happen when the empire's leaders, already compromised by the poison, faced the ultimate test of their strength? As the empire's economy began to collapse, the social fabric began to fray. Politicians turned against each other, and assassinations became commonplace. You can almost hear the whispers of conspiracy, the rustling of poisoned daggers in the dark. The Roman Forum, once the heartbeat of democracy, became a battleground for rival factions. And then, just as the empire was reeling from the effects of lead and corruption, a new threat emerged: the pandemic. The Antonine Plague, which ravaged the empire from 165 to 180 AD, was the final blow, striking down millions and crippling the empire's ability to respond. Can you feel the darkness closing in, as the very survival of Rome hangs in the balance? You are now walking through a city on the brink of collapse, the air thick with the stench of death and decay. The once mighty Romans, poisoned, corrupted, and decimated, are barely clinging to power. And in the shadows, the forces of darkness are gathering, waiting to deliver the final blow. The empire's leaders, their minds clouded by lead and their bodies weakened by disease, are powerless to stop the inevitable. The greatest empire in history is about to fall, not to external forces, but to the slow, agonizing poison that has been eating away at its heart for centuries. And as the darkness finally consumes Rome, you are left with a haunting realization: the true horror was not the fall of the empire, but the terrible, poisoning shadow that haunted its people for 300 years. The darkness that destroyed Rome is a haunting reminder that even the greatest civilizations can be brought down by the enemies within.